For us, it's very important to say we cannot blame anybody else for this performance. It's only our responsibility. That doesn't make it better. We don't want to look for excuses. That doesn't make it better. But the job that we have to do is to react again on it and react and react and react, because that what happened tonight happened now too often in this season already. Everybody who follows us over the whole year knows how good we can be. So that makes it even worse to accept than a performance like this tonight. And yeah, I said already. The thing is that we all play, myself involved, for our future. That's how it is. And no, I don't think they are not as good as I thought they are, but I think they need my help more to show it every week. I said it a few times, when we lose, I feel Mac doesn't help anybody. That's clear.
Now, I've got to ask you about Jurgen Klopp. Everyone throwing these stats around, the fact that at the same time during their tenure, Brendan Rodgers had more points than Klopp. Yet he's not criticised because of the way he is, because of his mannerisms. The honeymoon's, without question, over. How long could we see before divorce?
I think you're a little premature there, Dan. I think, no question, this summer is a huge summer for Jurgen Klopp. You know, the way Liverpool started the season, the way he had the likes of Milner out of possession, everybody saying how good he was doing, how everybody was playing for Klopp, how his brand of football was fantastic. And guess what? I fell right in as well. But I think what we're seeing now is actually what this team is about. And what this team is about is it's not good enough, and the individuals are not good enough to sustain what they're capable of at the best. Because at the best, as an 11, Liverpool can be great. But to win a Premier League and to be successful, you have to do it for a season. This team is not capable, and it's because they don't have the players. And he needs to get players in the summer. And if he doesn't, and Liverpool end up being the same as they were this year, next year, he's in trouble.
For Liverpool, 2017 has been a disaster. In fact, so much so now, Jurgen Klopp's record matches that of Brendan Rodgers. After exactly the same amount of Premier League matches, 56, they have the same total of points. Raf Onyxstein is still with us. Raf, this wasn't supposed to happen. Klopp was the saviour. He was the man. He was the one that was supposed to lead Liverpool to the title. What's happened to your boy?
Well, don't forget that Brendan Rodgers nearly won the Premier League with Suarez and Raheem Sterling, so he did pick up some records, some good points along the way. I think the issue is that this is a Liverpool team that's not necessarily the third or fourth best team in the league. Individually, they're not very great. You've got Sané, you've got maybe Coutinho, and then you're really struggling for players who would get into any real good team in the Premier League or in Europe. And when they're not at 100%, when they're not getting squeezed to the very last inch of their ability, they struggle. And their record against decent teams is very good, and their start was very good. But I think that created a kind of a false expectations of where they really are. They are a decent side, they're maybe a top 4 side, but they're not a championship winning side. And you look at the points, they're on course for about 72. That's kind of in line with what they've done over the last 10 years. So they're not having a terrible season, they're not having a great season either. I think you'd have to just say they need more quality in the squad.
You could certainly argue that, Raf, certainly when you compare it to, say, Manchester United or Chelsea or Arsenal, maybe their squad isn't as deep, doesn't have the same amount of quality. Yet there seems to be a lack of, I don't know what it is with Liverpool when they go up against the smaller sides. We saw it yesterday against Leicester, we saw it before against Burnley, against Bournemouth. Surely that's down to Klopp, isn't it, to get his team up and ready for these sort of matches?
Yeah, and I think he would recognise that. I think that it's a combination of tactical problems, that they are much better when they can play on the counter-attack, when they can react. I think his name is actually Mane, not Sane, but you know what I meant. Plus the fact that I think, as I said, if they're not 100% on their game, if they think they can win at 80 or 90% the way that the better teams can, even in the Premier League, they're just not going to do it. And you know, when games came thick and fast in January, when they picked up a few injuries, when they had a few key people not available, they really struggled. So I think Klopp is not blameless here. I think he needs to adapt his tactics, become a bit more able to grind out results, to find ways. Maybe they need a proper number 9, somebody who can, you know, create goals even if you're not playing well as a team. There are obvious weaknesses in the squad, and I think Klopp is still adjusting to what he's got and trying to find the right solutions. And I think it's an effort that is maybe seen in a much harsher light than it should be, because the quality around him, with, you know, Chelsea and Tottenham and Man United and Man City, is such that their 1 or 2 bad results from Liverpool look like it's a disaster, but actually they're kind of where they should.
Welcome to Extra Time. I can tell you every single question today is about Jurgen Klopp. We've been inundated.
Oh no.
Liverpool legend Steve Nicol is with us. 5 league titles, Champions League,
and a packet of crisps.
And a packet of crisps.
Yeah, that's the book title, by the way.
Available.
That is the book. Is it still available?
Still
Steve?
available,
Yeah,
yes.
Hasn't sold out? No.
Oh yeah, demand has been incredible.
Has it?
I don't know. I've no idea.
We surely must get some sort of royalty check through if it does good.
Royalty good, yeah.
Right. It is Klopp, the Premier League Robin Hood. Takes points from the rich and gives them to the poor.
Oh. Well, I'll tell you what, I like that because it seems quite appropriate. I'll tell you what he is. He's a guy who can get a performance from his team, but he can't get a consistent performance from his group of players that's going to last 9 months and going to win a Premier League title. Not with the squad of players he's got.
Okay. Same to you, Stevie, again. Sorry, Ali.
That's all right. It's okay. I did like the Twitter handle of the last guy.
Oh.
It's a Cupid Amoroso or something like that?
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Oh, you love a bit of Cupid. Stevie, you have to admit, Klopp is the most overrated manager in the Premier League.
Oh. Oh.
It's probably fair, isn't it?
Not at all. Not at all.
Who's more overrated?
Listen, with the group of players he has, there's only so much that he can do. You know, I'm complaining that the group of players he has aren't consistent over a period of time, or a league period over 9 months that it takes to win a league. So he has to get a better squad, and he has to get better individual players. You know, you give Klopp the Real Madrid squad, and I'm sure we wouldn't be saying he's overrated, because I'm sure he would turn them in or make them even better than they are. So it's about having a squad of players that are capable of doing certain things, and he doesn't have enough of them.
But there's got to be a level of expectation as to what Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool should be able to achieve. And what we have seen from them in 2017 is simply not good enough, regardless of the players that they have. We haven't seen any sort of adjustment from Jurgen Klopp. They only have one way to play and one way to win games. And if that doesn't change, then clearly you're going to have inconsistency.
Yeah, well, these same players, title contenders back in October.
Yeah, well, as Ali said, they did it. They haven't done it in 2017.
So surely that's down to the coach, isn't it?
Well, it's down to the coach, but it's also down to the squad of players you have. If you have a squad of players that's not capable of producing it for 9 months, then, you know, it's not just as easy to point the finger at the coach.
Why can you produce it for 3 months but not 9 months?
Well, because if you've got individuals who are actually just not capable of doing that individually, you know, at their best, they've shown what they can do. But to be a Premier League winner, you have to be able to do it for 9 months. He needs more players. He needs better players. He needs players that are mentally tougher and stronger to last a 9 month league
Is a
season.
coach's role not to do all that, though? To make them mentally stronger, to make them better players?
Hey, you can't turn... There's only one guy I know that ever turned water into wine. Nobody else has been able to do it.
Oh, okay.
Ever since, right?
Right.
So,
how well did you know him?
Not well enough.
Clearly.
Steve, you're looking good for your age.
Yeah, you're quite old, aren't you?
Well,
final one.
healthy living.
Why can't Klopp get fired for not beating any bad teams?
I think if Liverpool's owners and board and scouts and whoever it is that's involved in bringing in players can bring him in better players and more players, if he can't do it after they do that for him, then that's when you can start pointing the finger.
All right, I think he's tired. He's tired of Jurgen Klopp questions. He wants to go home. He's had enough.
I'm getting tired of these questions myself. Put me under right pressure here.